is Mackenzie Vance, and I am in the 7th grade at McIntosh Middle School. My science teacher is Miss Rieger, and for my science fair project, I am doing different size skirts. In my project, I will be testing the different sizes of skirts on a hovercraft. This is why I call my project Different Size Skirts. From my research and observations of other hovercraft experiments, my hypothesis is that the hovercraft with the higher skirt will glide faster over a flat surface. I base my hypothesis on the fact that there is more space in the cushion so that it can hold more air. This means that the hovercraft will not create as much friction as the smaller skirt. These will be the materials that I will be using. The leaf blower will be the engine for the hovercraft. The tarps are for the skirts, and they are different sizes for the different size skirts. I will also be using sanders for sanding the edges of the board, staple gun for stapling the tarps onto the board, a jigsaw for cutting out the board, the screwdriver for screwing in all the nuts and bolts and screws, duct tape to tape around the edge to reinforce the skirt, scissors to cut holes in the skirt, a ruler to measure the size of the board and skirts, safety goggles for preventing wood to go into your eyes, earplugs because it can get very loud, my notebook to write down the information, a Sharpie to draw the outlines and write with, a chalk line to mark the boards. I have 2 boards because I'll be making 2 hovercrafts, one with a big skirt and one with a little skirt. I'll be testing the hovercrafts how far, how fast, and how long it will take them to go from a start line to a finish line. This is my assistant, Jim Chrisman, and he is going to help me cut out and draw the circle. We are checking if we got the measurements correctly. I got 67 3/4. 67 3/4. The reason why I'm wearing these goggles is to keep the wood chips from going into my eyes when I'm drilling. I am making a radius arm 2 feet long. When you're cutting out the board, you want to line this up with the line that you're cutting, the little groove in the screw, and never put your fingers under the table because then they could get cut. And wear safety goggles. Finished cutting out our disc for the hovercraft platform. Now we are going to sand down the edges using 80 grit sandpaper. I am going to be using this hole saw to cut a hole for the leaf blower to fit into so it can give air to the skirt. far we have made mounts for the leaf blower, and I am going to be cutting this PVC so that this will connect to the leaf blower, which will go into this hole, which will feed the air into the skirt. The other saw didn't work, so we are going to be using a hacksaw. Now we are drawing out the circle for the hovercraft skirt. Now we are taping up the edges of the plastic disc. I am measuring out the holes for the bottom of the hovercraft so the air can escape. Right now, as you can see, my assistant is cutting out the holes so that in the skirt so the air can escape. After you cut them out, you reinforce them with duct tape so then they won't rip when inflated. Right now, I am cutting out the skirt for the hovercraft. I am now stapling the skirt onto the platform. Now we've got it all complete and we are going to test it out on a smooth surface.